Well, speaking of tight end, Pat Freiermuth is our start-sit candidate this week against the Browns. He's coming off a season high in reception, yards, and fantasy points here, Matthew. Russell Wilson threw the ball a ton last week. Does this mean good days ahead for Pat Freiermuth, or does this feel like a little bit of lightning in a bottle because of the script against the Bengals?
Yeah, I mean, the script against the Bengals, that was just kind of a nutty game. Right? Since Russell Wilson became the starter, he's got a 12% target share. 12%. During the stretch in which Russell Wilson is the starter of the Pittsburgh Steelers, he's got count them, 5 more targets than Darnell Washington, right? So he's basically become a touchdown-dependent tight end. Here's the concern with him being a touchdown-dependent tight end, because there are a lot of touchdown-dependent tight ends. He has yet to see an end zone target this year. He's gotten only 17% of the Steelers' red zone targets. So, they're targeting him not that much, but when they do, it's between the 10 and the 20. They're not even giving him an end zone target this year as well. And in games in which Freiermuth doesn't score a touchdown, he's averaging 6.2 fantasy points per game. I'm closing it out. He's my tight end 17 this week. Just no thank you. It's George Pickens, it's the running backs, it's Russ, and that's about it for me on Pittsburgh. I know we've seen some moments from Calvin Austin and Van Jefferson, but doesn't feel like anything consistent that you can count on. It's the 2 running backs, it's Russ, and it's obviously George Pickens.
It's desperate times out there at tight end,
Yeah,
Lawrence.
yeah.
I mean, especially if you're waiting for Kincaid to come back. It felt like Will Dissly was giving us something for a while. He has the goose egg last week. I mean, there are some scenarios that you might have to start Freiermuth, right?
I would leave it open. I wouldn't say I'm counting on him to do something big. But Cleveland's allowed 4 receptions, 40 yards to tight ends in 4 of their past 5 games. His last, you mentioned him having his season high in receptions and yards. Well, his season high in receiving yards before that was against Cleveland in Week 11. He had 59 yards, so his second biggest game was against them. So I'm just, if you're okay with the 4 for maybe 45 to 50 yards, then you take it. Again, it's a bye week. You may have better options, but if you don't, leave it open for old Pat Freiermuth.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and Rotoworld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Roto-World fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.